So, back in the past, I once made a video talking about why I wouldn't be buying Sonic Forces, and I've seen other people make videos on YouTube about stuff all the time, and this was me weighing in on a game that kind of already had a controversial, people were not really exactly sure what they were going to do with this one. A lot of people were like pro Sonic Forces. A lot of people were anti Sonic Forces, and I was on that side of saying, "Hey, I really like Sonic Mania, but the last few Sonic 3D games haven't really been that good." And while I think Sonic Generations was pretty good, I don't think Sonic Generations was better than some of the past 3D Sonic games that I used to really like. So I thought that like it would, it, you know, just from looking at Sonic Forces, it did seem to be like something I was going to enjoy, and I thought it was going to be in more of that category of bad Sonic 3D games, and I think I was right in my assertion. And so here I want to make the point for a very different game, and I want to make the opposite point that I am actually going to buy Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu. I already actually bought it. It's already downloaded on my Switch. I bought it the same day as Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. It was there on the shop, and I knew I was gonna get it anyway. I'm gonna be playing it Friday. That's when it's out. I'm gonna be playing it Friday, and I can't wait. I'm actually really excited to play this game and share the Pokemon I catch and collect with people who are close to me, and show them what I'm doing in the game, and because everyone knows the original 150, and everyone will like be able to appreciate what I'm doing in it. So it's a good conversation starter. Same way with Pokemon Go. Pokemon Go, obviously, this is what this game is based on. It's called Let's Go, for crying out loud. And I think that's part of why this game is so controversial and why so many people are against it, and why we have to have this discussion in the first place. I'm not going to call it a debate, because it's not really a debate. I'm not really trying to convince anyone else to buy it. I'm just kind of trying to say why I'm going to buy it, and well, I actually already bought it. The money's already spent. And it's a digital purchase. There's no refunding here. I'm not doing this on Steam, mind you. I'm doing this on the Switch, Nintendo eShop. I bought the game and I already have it. But the reason why, and the reason why I'm so for it, and why I'm buying it day one, is because it just looks fun and adorable. It looks casual, and while some people are so anti-casual, I tend to play games for different reasons. I will spend so much time playing competitive games like Super Smash Brothers and Dragon Ball Fighters, especially if you play any game online. Like, oh man, I used to play a lot of Overwatch, and before then, in my high school days, I was all in the Halo and Call of Duty, stuff. I've always been a massive Halo fan. Played some Halo 5 when it came out too. Um, when I bought Battlefront 2, I spent a lot of time playing the multiplayer in Battlefront 2 and finding myself enjoying it a lot. Just because there's something about that competitive edge. But sometimes I just get upset, and it's a hard thing to explain. But you can't just play nothing but hard games all the time. Sometimes you need, this is coming from a guy. My first few YouTube videos, before the Sonic Forces video, were all about Cuphead, and basically saying Cuphead is a perfect 10 out of 10 game, and it's a very lovely game. And then I went on to say you can't make that game easy or have an easy mode, because that defeats the purpose of the game. And a lot of people don't like that opinion, because people want to play Cuphead, and they think it's bullshit that people who have disabilities, for example, won't be able to play the game. Right now I've injured my thumb, so I'm playing Red Dead Redemption 2 in a funny way, and I have the auto aim settings really turned up, really cranked up to give me an advantage, because I'm having a hard time playing the game. So I understand why games need those disability modes, disability settings. And for right now, I don't play Red Dead for the challenge. I play Red Dead for the story. I don't play Uncharted 4 for the challenge. I play Uncharted 4 for the story. Certain single player games, I play for the story. I don't play for the challenge. When it comes to shooters and open world games, what is the challenge? What is the challenge? What is it? It's in Red Dead. It's sort of like managing yourself, but that's about it. The shooting people is easy. You just point and you shoot. It's different when you're talking about an online competitive scene, but for the most part, I beat Call of Duties and Halos and all those games, shooters. I've been I've been playing Star Wars Battlefront 2 on the campaign again, and I've just been beating on hard pretty easily. I've actually been surprised at the fact that I'm just like going through levels, and I'll go through an entire level without dying sometimes, you know. So it doesn't even matter. Like shooters, it's not that they're, obviously some are going to be hard if they have bullshit settings. You're playing on the hardest difficulty, like Call of Duty on Veteran. But the point is that, on a normal difficulty setting, most people have to play those games on hard because aiming and shooting is pathetic, especially at AI, especially in a game that has auto aim, which every fucking console shooter has a fucking auto aim. It's a joke. The whole thing is a goddamn joke. So, I will like casual games sometimes. Sometimes I play games for the story, for the atmosphere, for the experience. That's not why I played Zelda and Mario. That's not why I play a lot of my games. But there's certain games that I am going to play and I'm going to get enjoyment from it that isn't from the gameplay. Again, this is coming from someone who is very against an easy mode in Cuphead. I'm very much so in favor of hard modes in or games that are focused around one particular thing. But you need to know what this game is going into it. You shouldn't be upset that you can't beat Cuphead when literally everyone's complaining about Cuphead being difficult. So when it comes to Pokemon Let's Go, and the fact that it's a casual game, the fact that it's so inspired by Pokemon Go, none of that fucking turns me off. None of that turns me off at all. I am completely fine with the fact that it is a difficult or an easy game. I'm completely fine with that. All I want to do is collect Pokemon. And for those of people who are saying, a lot of the fun of Pokemon is the challenge, and the challenge is the grind, I'm not someone who's going to say grinding is a challenge. I've heard lots of people make the argument that grinding is artificial difficulty. It's not real difficulty. I disagree, but I will say that you can beat Final Fantasy VI and you can beat Final Fantasy VII without really grinding. You can beat the Persona games without really grinding. As long as you don't literally run from every random battle, most JRPGs with turn-based combat, you can beat them without grinding. You just don't run from every battle. If you just fight the battles as they come, you'll normally be strong enough. I mean, that's why the random battle encounters happen anyway, so you can level up. It's really not a big fucking deal. Most games I never have to grind, and I can beat them pretty easily. And Final Fantasy doesn't even have a difficulty setting. You just play the game. So, but I mean, really, for Final Fantasy X, for example, I don't think I beat the entire game without getting a game over screen once when I was playing the remastered version on my Vita, and I didn't have to grind until I was literally on the final section of the game. Literally. And in fact, I remember that game being so hard. And when I was fighting Seymour, I remember like, this fight's going to be a challenge. And all I did was I used my summons. And I realized I haven't even been using my summons like the entire game. Like, I don't use summons that often because you don't really need to. In Final Fantasy VII, I realized also that I didn't use my summons until I was fighting Sephiroth. Like, straight up. Those games, if you take care of the item management and you exploit the game's what the game gives you, you exploit the tools the game gives you, you can beat these games without really grinding. So when it comes to Pokemon, do I grind in Pokemon? Actually, no. I can beat almost every Pokemon game without grinding. And while some people say that's the fun, is the grind. For me, the fun is going out and collecting Pokemon. And if I can level up while catching Pokemon, which you can do in Sun and Moon, and I can't remember if you can do it in X and Y or not. It was one of the 3D ones that lets you get XP from catching Pokemon, which is a new thing that's going to be in this Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu, Let's Go Eevee. Well, that's a good thing, because I don't want to do stupid random battles that waste my time. The fact in Pokemon Let's Go is that you can see the Pokemon from outside of the battles. You're not wandering around hoping for something really damn cool. You can see the battles before you approach them. So when you eventually see something that you don't normally see, that's something a little bit more rare or something that catches your eye, when you finally find the Pokemon you've been wanting this whole time. Like when I fucking find Scyther, it's like my favorite goddamn Pokemon, Scyther. When I find this motherfucker, I'm gonna be jumping for joy. I can't wait. Catching Pokemon in a new way. And that's the thing. That's why I'm into this game, because it's a new take on something we've already had. And so I like that idea, I like that concept of trimming out the fat, and repurposing Pokemon Red, Blue, and Yellow and spitting it out back in a fun new way. And the fact that you can actually battle Red, Blue, and Green, or I guess I don't know if her name's Leaf or if it's Green. You can actually battle the trainers from the manga and the you can actually battle. Basically it's saying this is not Pokemon Red and Blue. You're not playing as Red. You're not playing as Red this time. You can battle Red, but you're not playing as Red. That's cool. And you can battle. Team Rocket is based off Jesse and James. It's really fucking cool. A lot of these elements are going to be a lot of fun, and I cannot wait to try them out. And then, like riding the Onyx on the map and stuff, it's all fun and cool. And that's the thing about Pokemon. It's just this game is just trying to be cute and cool. It's trying to be cute and cool, and that's it. I really like the idea of having Pikachu always with me. A part of me really likes Eevee a lot, but I kind of have to go with my boy Pikachu not just because he's like the mascot, but like Pokemon Yellow was the first game I got, and I tend to go with games that my friends. Whenever I get a Pokemon game, I look at what my friends are getting and decide what I'm going to get based off that, because I want to get a different game than most of my friends. And also a big factor to that is what my little brother is getting. Basically, I look at what my friends are getting, and then I tell him, this is the one I want, which one are you getting? And if he absolutely will not negotiate, if he's saying, I'm going to get this one, then I'm going to get the opposite one of my little brother. Me and him always get the opposite Pokemon games every single time. And so I'm getting Let's Go Pikachu, he's getting Let's Go Eevee, and I'm excited. I can't wait. Going on the Pokemon journey, especially when the games first come out, is always a lot of fun. And I gotta say, right here and right now, I don't even really like Sun and Moon. I said this in past videos talking about Incineroar, for when Incineroar was announced for Smash, and me saying when there was a rumor for Incineroar before he was announced, I was saying I don't really want Incineroar. I made a whole long video saying he's not important, and Sun and Moon wasn't that great, and it doesn't matter. I'm glad the Pokemon for Sun and Moon aren't the problem. The game Sun and Moon was the problem. And Sun and Moon was bad because there was just so much backtracking and no more gym battles and all this weird stuff that makes me think, for people who are complaining about this game being more casual, I look at Sun and Moon and say that game is so boring. I don't know if it's casual or hardcore, but it's boring and I didn't like it. So if the next game is going the direction of Sun and Moon, then I'm not really that excited for Sun and Moon. I'd rather play something like Let's Go, and I'm hoping the next game takes up some elements from Let's Go. Not that it needs to have the Pokemon Go Pokeball throwing style, but maybe seeing the Pokemon outside of the battles, man, that really sounds really helpful. I know a lot of these assets are basically taken right from Pokemon Go, and that's the thing about Let's Go. It's going to be a cheap and easy game to make. And a lot of people are calling it a soulless cash grab and all this stuff. Guys, Pokemon's already a soulless cash grab. You got to get with the times, man. For people saying this game looks like it's for kids, every Pokemon game's for kids, man. So I don't know what to tell you. This game looks cute, easy, and fun. I bought Kirby Star Allies for the same reason. I didn't have any challenge or difficulty. I feel like that argument isn't really that important when it comes to Pokemon. That's important if that's what you are looking for. But for me, I feel like the trimming of the fat and trimming of the needless bullshit, the needless grinding. Not that I hate grinding in games, but and sometimes when you're having a hard time, you go back and you grind, and then you just destroy a boss, and it's like, wow, holy shit, that felt great. But that is really it's really not that necessary. Like I said, I never grind. The only thing is I'll start having problems around the Elite Four normally, but now I'm used to it. I'm used to knowing I'm probably going to have problems with the Elite Four. So I usually stock up on potions before I go fight the Elite Four. I literally don't grind, guys. I just buy my way to victory. I never use my money for anything but Pokeballs and Great Balls anyway. And I just fucking, at the end of the game, just buy a shit ton of full revives and full heals and super potions, hard potions, and all that shit. And then I just decimate the Elite Four, and they can't stop me because I'll just keep healing my Pokemon and reviving them. So yeah, I that's the way I play the game. You don't have to grind in Pokemon. You really don't. So people complaining about the fact that it's going to be a cakewalk, there's no grinding. Well, I beat every Pokemon without grinding. I beat Heart Gold without grinding. I beat White without grinding. I beat White 2 without grinding. I beat X without grinding. I didn't beat Alpha Sapphire. I got bored and stopped on the Elite Four. I didn't even attempt to fight the Elite Four because I was like, I get it. I didn't even go. I beat the 8th gym. Was like, I'm done with this. I don't want to keep playing. Like, I didn't like the original Ruby. So I don't. So when I bought Alpha Sapphire, I don't know what I was expecting. I just knew X and Y. I really liked X and Y, and the magic was gone. And when I beat or I didn't beat Sun and Moon. I bought Sun and Moon. I got like halfway through it. There's like 4 challenges. There's 8 challenges, like how there used to be 8 gym badges. I beat like 4 of them and was like, I don't care. This is boring, and I'm not having fun. The thing is, I want to make this case very clear right here. I don't actually care what generation the game is. In fact, that has literally nothing to do with the appeal for me. For me, I forget a lot of the Pokemon that are in a generation, because we're talking about 150 Pokemon. Usually there's about like 100 new ones every time, too. So by the time I get to the new Pokemon game, I forget who's who and what does what. Even if I've seen games in the Pokemon in the past, I'll stare at them and be like, were they normal or dark? And now I have to worry, are they normal, dark, or fairy? I really don't remember. Like, just from looking at Pokemon, I can't tell what the type they are all the time. I forget them a lot. For me, a lot of the fun comes from the current memorization and all that stuff. Like, looking at Pokemon and looking at types and the best strategies. And that information kind of retains for a little bit, but I never really, like, fully retain all that information. So am I buying this game based off nostalgia? Well, while I'm buying the Pikachu version based more off nostalgia, but that's literally it. Literally, the nostalgia factor only made me decide between Pikachu or Eevee. That's it. And I actually love Eevee, but the thing is, my little brother actually, when we were playing Pokemon on the 3DS, I actually before 3DS even came out, we were playing it on the DS, and he had between Soul Silver and Black, he got like every Eevee form. He caught so many Eevees and breeded so many Eevees and traded people for Eevees that he had multiples of all of Eevee's forms, and he just kept doing it. And he was like, he told me he wanted to have a team of all Eevees, and he wanted to have every Eevee, and then of course he realized that wasn't viable. But he actually had literally every Eevee, and versus me, I had like Glaceon at one point, and then in for X and Y on my final team, I had, I think his name's like Slivian or something, the fairy one. I used that fairy type. Actually, X and Y was a Pokemon game where I beat the Elite Four without spamming potions, because that Eevee evolution, the fairy one, just completely dismantled multiple Pokemon from that were my enemies. The fairy type was definitely the way to go in that one. X and Y was so much fun. I really enjoyed X and Y. Mega evolutions or whatever, I didn't really care about them that much. But Greninja was such a fun Pokemon, and having Mega Lucario and having Mega Charizard and Mega Blastoise. I had both Charizard and Blastoise. Eventually, you get another starter at the end of the game. Such a cool idea. So I got Fennekin because I had Greninja. So then I got Fennekin, which is really cool. He's a fire psychic, and I really learned to love him. I know he was kind of invented for Harry Potter furries, but like, I don't care. Like, the fact that he's like a fire psychic is such a fun idea. So I really enjoyed him. I know he's in the second evolutions in Pokken Tournament. Really cool idea. Really fucking cool idea. So, I had Greninja, and I had Fennekin, I had Charizard and Blastoise, I had Venusaur, I had, I was really happy with, the Pokemon I had. I had the Pikachu. I had so many cool shit. Really enjoyed X. And then Sun and Moon really fucked it up for me. But I'm excited to play a new Pokemon game. Like I said, I haven't enjoyed one since X, and that was a while ago. Really, that was seriously like years and years ago. And so I bought the past ones, but I didn't enjoy them. And now my 3DS has been just sitting there and collecting dust. So, I've been seeing people make some solid cases against why they're not getting Pokemon. Let's Go Pikachu, Let's Go Eevee, saying it's gonna be easy game, and they don't want a baby easy game. I promise you, the battle against Red will probably be a little challenging. I don't understand how you could possibly think the game's going to be a cakewalk the entire time. Most Pokemon games are a fucking cakewalk until the Elite Four. So I'm assuming this one's going to be the same. I might be wrong because apparently getting XP is easy in this one. I don't think it's a big deal because I want to use Pikachu the entire time. I think you have to use Pikachu the entire time actually, or unless you get Eevee, then you have to use Eevee the entire time. I don't care. That's fine for me. So, yeah. Um, you know, if I can get, as long as I can get this, I want Charizard, I want Squirtle, I want Lapras. I beat White 2 using a Lapras on my team. I want Lapras, I want Scyther. I just want to get the Pokemon I really like and put them on my team. And I don't really care if, I don't know, I don't think it's going to be I think it's gonna be. I don't think it's gonna be any easier than any other Pokemon game. I think every Pokemon game is pretty piss easy. And again, that's not a diss on Pokemon. Some people might be saying, the whole point of why they play Pokemon is for the challenge. I don't think Pokemon games are challenging. I beat them very easily every time. In fact, X and Y and then Sun and Moon. X and Y was probably the easiest Pokemon game ever made until Sun and Moon came out, and that's probably the even easiest one. So who cares if it's easy or not? Um, and while I do say I'd rather have a game with new Pokemon, I don't really care about the old ones as much. Even though I grew up with the old ones in the anime, I feel like they're represented perfectly fine in Pokemon Go and Smash and everything. I will say though, like when it comes to new Pokemon games, I only ever care about the starters, and the rest don't normally interest me that much. I remember when I beat Black and White, Black and White forced you to use the new Pokemon just for that generation. Then you got to use the old ones after, and I gotta say, which is why White 2 and Black 2 was a good idea. But I gotta say, um, you know, besides uh, Oshawott and his final version, I forget what it's called. Oshawott, I really, really like Oshawott. He's one of my favorite Pokemon of all time. Like literally just the first form Oshawott. I think he's just got a really good design. Um, and then he turns into this giant fucking water monster. He's pretty damn cool. Um, so like, besides that though, like I don't remember anything about that game besides Oshawott. Like, oh, and Snivy. Snivy was cool too, and I remember even the fire pig was cool too. But for most Pokemon games, all I ever care about are the starters. And then, like, I don't really have much of attachment to a lot of the other characters. Like, I'll use a bird character. Well, I'll use that bird until I replace it with someone better later. Like, I'll use the Pokemon I have around me, and then I just replace them immediately when I get better ones. I will say, though, there was a dragon, Hydreion, the three-headed dragon from Black and White. That guy is one of my favorite dragon Pokemon ever. That's a good dragon. Black and White had some damn good Pokemon. But, at the end of the day, all I care about is, like, the stats, and I do think Hydreion's cool. He's got 3 heads and he's kind of scary, but that's about it. So, like I said, I don't really have any. Even though I grew up with Red and Blue, I'd probably say Gold and Silver are far superior games. I think Heart Gold and Soul Silver is probably my favorite Pokemon game ever. But then X and Y is so good, and then Black and White, I have so many really fond memories with Black and White. So like, I love all those games I just mentioned: Heart Gold, Soul Silver, Black and White, and X and Y. Those are all fantastic games. So all I'm trying to say here is that I don't really like Sun and Moon. And A Blast from the Past sounds fun, especially with a different take on it. Trimming out the fat so you're not doing random battles constantly to grind up seems like it's going to be a lot more fun than... I don't know why people would argue against that. They think the trainer battles, I guess, and the gym battles will be too easy. Whatever. Yes, they are usually higher level than you at that point, but you don't really necessarily need to grind. I would grind as a little kid when I was very little playing Yellow. When I tried to beat Brock, I would grind and get Butterfree and grind up to make him use Confusion. That's because in Pokemon Yellow, they kind of fuck you over. They give you no Pokemon that can possibly beat Rock type. But once you get Butterfree, once you get that Metapod to level 10 and he becomes Butterfree, all you have to do at that point is just beat... you just go at level 10, you go fight Brock. And Geodude and Onix are both way stronger than that level 10 Butterfree, but you just use Confusion like 4 times and you win. So, do I feel good about that? No. When I play Pokemon Red and Blue, do I have to grind there? No. Because if you pick Squirtle or Bulbasaur, you can probably win. So you don't even need to get the Butterfree. I use Squirtle a lot, and just using, Water Gun and Bubble, you win. So, so who cares? Who cares? I don't know. I didn't buy the little Pokeball accessory, so I'm not getting Mew. I have Mew on the 3DS version of Pokemon Blue that I have, because it's really easy to get Mew, and you can put those Pokemon into the Pokebank, which is fun. But I don't care, because now the Switch is out and the Pokebank's not out. Maybe the Pokebank will come back for the Switch version, and there'll be a way to transfer your 3DS shit to that. Because all of my Pokemon, Heart Gold and X and Y and White, and all those Pokemon are all in my Pokebank right now. So, like, I dumped out all of those motherfuckers from all the fucking games. So, all the Pokemon I've ever been proud of and wanted and to keep and hold on to, I have with me. And that means I have the starters. I have, like, the water starters of all these various different Pokemon games. So, because I always traditionally usually get a water starter. Though if I was going to play Sun and Moon, I'd probably do a new game and just pick Litten. Because I don't really like the water starter from that one. He's kind of stupid. His name's like Piplup or something. I'd probably just get Litten and then evolve him into Incineroar and call it a day. If I could probably, dust off my 3DS and have a lot of fun with it if I cared. Because I do have Sun and Moon. I don't have Ultra, but I have Sun. I have Moon. I don't remember. But I don't want to play that game. I'd rather just play Pikachu when it comes out. And yeah, I don't know what to say. It looks like it's going to be a fun game. I don't know why people are so harsh on it. I think a lot of the criticisms are kind of a little silly, to be honest. And I think that people saying the game's going too easy. Well, the game's not out yet, and we'll see if it's too easy. But I feel like Pokemon games are never that hard. I will say the battle against Red at the end of Heart Gold was in a thrill. And White, I can't remember if it was White 2 or White 1 that had the... no, it was White 2. White 2 had the city and the woods that were like these big mazes with like tournaments in it, and you had to fight so many trainers. That was really fun in-game content. I actually gave me a lot to do after I beat the game. So, yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun fighting like Red and Blue after you beat Let's Go Pikachu. So people saying it's going to be too easy, whatever. Pokemon games are always easy until the very end. And I'm sure the battle with Red's not going to be a cakewalk. You'll probably have to grind because it makes too much sense to... It makes no sense to make Red an easy fight. It makes too much sense to put a hard battle in at the very end with Red. So, I don't know what to tell you guys. Like, I think it's going to be very obvious that everyone's being stupid and they're being childish over this children game. And, yeah, I can't wait. I literally can't wait for... Friday when I can play Let's Go Pikachu. I'm actually extremely excited for it. It's almost everything I kind of want in a Pokemon game. So yeah, I will. I guess maybe I'll do a review for it, but I probably won't do a review for it if it's exactly what I said. I'll probably only review it if it's like a huge, massive disappointment for me. But I don't see that being the case. Given everything I know about it, I know what I'm getting myself into, and I'm very excited. So. Yep, I just want to make a video pointing out my opinion on why I bought the game and why I'm, going to enjoy the game. I think there's a lot of people saying it's gonna suck, so I want to be that voice saying, well, shut up. Who cares what you say? Because you're being ridiculous. Because if you think Pokemon's been challenged, you're wrong. It's really never been. So, okay. I'll see you guys on the flip side.